we're about to determine if Tennessee does still, in fact, have a path to the playoff. And if so, what is it? Because this, in my opinion, is going to be the funnest part of our show yet. Let's go individually through these teams, talk about how many ranked teams they still have on their schedule and who they are. Ohio State, currently undefeated. Only one ranked team remaining on their schedule. Their current remaining games are Penn State, Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and the only ranked team, Michigan. In my opinion, those are 5 wins for Ohio State. They're going to finish the season undefeated.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Indiana. 0 ranked teams left on their schedule. They play UCLA, Maryland.
They got one.
Who?
And they'll face Ohio State in the Big Ten championship.
Well, okay, all right, but they're going to be undefeated going into that game.
Sure.
So they have UCLA, Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue. Those 5 games left. So in my opinion, listen, I know it's college football. I know that. Anything can happen literally any day of the week. I get that. Okay. UCLA can beat Penn State. I get that. I'm just saying, if everything plays out the way things should play out, here's what's going to happen. Ohio State and Indiana both finished the regular season undefeated. They're both in the playoff. All right, now let's get to Texas A&M. Texas A&M has 3 ranked teams left on their schedule. They have LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, and Texas. I do not think Texas A&M finishes the season unscathed. However, I also don't think they lose more than one of those games. Honestly, I think Missouri might be their toughest game remaining on their schedule.
I don't like them going into Death Valley the week after LSU got embarrassed. I think they lose this Saturday in Death Valley. And I think whoever wins – so I think the 5th SEC team that'll get in will be whoever wins the Missouri-Texas A&M game.
All right, let's move on to Bama. Bama has 2 ranked teams remaining on their schedule. They play South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois, and Auburn. In my opinion, Bama's going to win it. If that's the case,
the SEC championship, they're going to win it all.
Yeah, so if that's the case, they're in. They're in the playoff. So
they'll be the number 2 seed in the playoff.
So of the 4 that we've covered so far, well, let's finish Georgia. We'll finish with them, and then we'll move on. So Georgia has 2 ranked teams left on their schedule. They play Florida, Mississippi State, Texas, Charlotte, and Georgia Tech. In my opinion, they might lose one of those games. I do not foresee them losing 2 of them. If that's the case, and they only lose 1 game, they have the same amount of losses as Tennessee, and they beat Tennessee head to head.
Who in that group do you think is going to beat them?
Well, I mean, if I had to pick, I'd say 0. But at most, there's 1. And it would either end up being either Georgia Tech. No, it'd be Georgia Tech. I mean, that'd be the only team. And I don't think Georgia Tech's going to beat them.
No chance.
I mean, I'm just saying hypothetically, the most they're going to lose is 1 game. Tide Talk Live, hey, we appreciate you, man. He said, gave you guys a sub. Wish all the best. We'll return the favor. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. So of the 5 teams on that top row of that graphic right there, they're all in the playoff. Like that, those are 5 spots that are taken right now, in my opinion, if everything plays out the way it's supposed to. All right, let's go to the second row. Side note, Tennessee's on the 4th row of this list. That is not good. Okay. But so
it works
now
out.
let's go to the second row. We got Oregon. Zero
They're in.
ranked teams remaining on their schedule. They play Wisconsin, Iowa. Can you imagine Oregon playing Iowa? That's going to be a joke, man. Minnesota, USC, and Washington. Zero ranked teams. They're going to win them all. They're in the playoff. Georgia Tech. One ranked team left on their schedule. Georgia. They play Syracuse, NC State, Boston College, Pitt, and Georgia. In my opinion, Georgia Tech's in the playoff. You don't think so?
Not a chance. They're going to lose to Georgia, which is going to knock them down to the bubble. Then they're going to get smacked in the ACC championship because
By
it's
who?
Jimmy's and Joe's. Huh?
By who?
Miami. Miami's going to win out. Miami will wax them in the ACC championship. And the ACC, because it's incredibly bad this year, will get one team in the playoff, and that's Miami as the champ. That conference is awful. And 2 losses in that conference this year with the incredibly bad strength of schedule will not get in.
All right, so you're making a bold prediction here because what you're saying is that the committee is going to do the opposite of what they said they're going to do.
Yeah, you can't go by anything they say they're going to do. That means nothing. And it's not even the same
I get
group.
that.
The people who made that statement aren't even the committee this year. So it's not even the same people.
Well, but the precedent is that conference championship games are not supposed to remove you from the playoff if you were in.
Yeah, we
prior
all
to
know
that.
that's not true. We all
Well,
know
I
that's
agree,
not
but
true.
that's what they've said publicly.
Whoever wins the Big 12 championship is going to be the one team from the Big 12 that gets in. They ain't going to get 2. They don't have a good enough record to have 2. ACC's the same way. That conference is crap. So, there's going to be one team, and that's it.
Well, I think I wouldn't say that about the Big 12. They might get 2 in. We'll see.
Who? BYU and who?
and Texas Tech.
Texas Tech's going to lose 2 or 3 games. Their quarterback's out for at least a month. They sucked this Saturday without him. They got waxed.
They still almost beat Arizona State.
No, that game, the score was not indicative of how that game went. Arizona State owned them.
Well, let's keep going down the list here.
That team's not going to be in the conversation.
So now we're getting to Ole Miss. They have one ranked team left on their schedule. They play Oklahoma, South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida, and Mississippi State. I think Ole Miss wins out. They're in the playoff.
Yep.
Miami, 0 ranked teams left on their schedule. They play Stanford, SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt. They'd have no more bye weeks. They play every single week from here on out. I think they win out, make it to the ACC championship game. All right. Vanderbilt, 3 ranked teams left on their schedule: Missouri, Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee. I would not be shocked if Vanderbilt loses 2 games of those 5. I think they're at least going to lose 1, potentially 2. If they lose to Tennessee, which I think they will, then Tennessee can leapfrog them, and they should. Okay.
They will.
All right. So now we're at BYU. 2 ranked teams left: Iowa State, Texas Tech, TCU, Cincinnati, and UCF. Here's where this gets interesting, in my opinion. If Texas Tech beats BYU and they both still make it to the Big 12 championship game, I think they're both in. However, if BYU beats Texas Tech, I don't know if Texas Tech makes it to the Big 12 championship game after that, in which case BYU would be the lone representative from the Big 12. But that game next week against Texas Tech is a huge game. It's huge. For Tennessee, it's huge. That's a very important game. Notre Dame.
It's not next week. It's November 8th.
Oh, so it's a week after. So they both have bye weeks next week. Then it's a week after that.
No, BYU plays Iowa State this Saturday.
Right, and so the week after that would be their bye week, and then the Texas Tech game is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. So,
but I'm not concerned. It's Jimmy's and Joe's. This BYU team is way better than everybody else on that schedule by a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to win out. Texas Tech will have multiple losses. Non-issue. They won't be in the conversation.
Notre Dame, 0 ranked teams left. Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford. Notre Dame wins out. They're in the playoff.
They're in. Yep.
Now, here's where it starts getting interesting. If everybody notices, we just crossed number 12 on the list. This is where it becomes a problem because, as we've said many times in the – do I?
Not for me.
Oh, well, as we've said many times in the past, you can't just look at this and say, oh, well, it's a top 12. No, it's not. The 12th spot in the playoff is reserved for the group of 6 school that is currently ranked the highest, at the end of the season. Right now, that would be South Florida. South Florida is in the driver's seat more than anybody else in the country right now for getting in the playoff. If they just went out, they are literally guaranteed a spot in the playoff. So in order to be in this playoff, you have to be in the top 11. And even then, you might not make it if somebody wins a conference championship game that shouldn't win the conference championship game. Then that happened last year with Clemson. So then whoever's number 11 gets kicked out for the winner of that conference championship game. So really, in order to be comfortably in the playoff, you really need to be in the top 10. That's the reality of the situation. All right, so let's keep going through here. Oklahoma, poor Oklahoma. They have a murderer's row ahead of them. They have by far and away the most difficult schedule left on this list. They have 5 games left. All 5 of them are against currently ranked opponents. They play Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU. I think Oklahoma loses 4 of those games.
Yep, they're out of the conversation.
Agreed.
They definitely lose at least 3, but good chance they'll lose 4.
Absolutely. Then we go to Texas Tech. Only 1 ranked opponent left. They play Oklahoma State, Kansas State, BYU, UCF, and West Virginia. In my opinion, they only have 1 loss in there, and that's BYU. And now we've got an issue, in my opinion, because what if with only 1 loss, they make it to the Big 12 championship game? At that point, BYU's in, no matter what happens in the Big 12 championship game. And if Texas beats them in the Big 12 championship, let's say their quarterback's healthy, he's back, and Texas Tech beats them in the Big 12 championship game, they're both in the playoff, and Tennessee is now left out.
If BYU beats Texas Tech in 2 weeks, it goes to head because they and Arizona State will both have 1 conference loss, and Arizona State beat them head-to-head. Texas Tech won't be in the Big 12 championship game.
Well, Arizona State better win out. They better win out.
But even if they do, it's Jimmy's and Joe's. If BYU plays that, like, BYU is not going to lose to them. It doesn't matter what field it's on. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. It ain't happening. So, they are significantly better. So there's only 1 Big 12 team going to be in this conversation.
Now we get to Missouri. 3 ranked teams left. They play Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. I think they have 1, maybe 2 losses in there. The Missouri Vanderbilt game this weekend is incredibly important. Not only just for the two of them, but for Tennessee. It is incredibly important. And now we get to the real wild card. And that's the Wahoos at Virginia. And no, I'm not being mean to them. That's what they're called. So Virginia currently only one loss. Correct? I'm not wrong on that, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Virginia currently one loss. Their remaining schedule, 0 ranked teams. They play North Carolina, California, Wake Forest, Duke, and Virginia Tech. Here's where it gets really tricky. If Virginia, Miami, and Georgia Tech all win out, except for Georgia Tech, if they lose to Georgia, now you've got a head-to-head situation where one of those three teams will not be in the conference championship game. And in that situation, how are you going to, whichever team doesn't make it to the conference championship game, they would only have one conference loss. The only reason they didn't get into the championship game was because of a tiebreaker. How are they going to be left out of the playoff?
Because the conference sucks.
I agree.
Pretty
Totally.
simple.
But they're ranked ahead of Tennessee right now, and they would still only have one loss.
But they've made it clear strength of schedule is going to be the number one indicator.
Well, I hope so. Because otherwise
Tennessee would be. First of all, I think Virginia is going to lose at least one of those games, maybe two. I think they'll lose at Cal because that's hard to go across the country, and I think they'll lose
that would
at
be a tough
Duke.
one. I agree.
That Duke team is better than people realize. I think they'll lose at Duke as well. So I don't believe they're even going to be in this conversation. But I think Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss, Miami, BYU, Notre Dame are locks. There's your 10, or there's 9. I think whoever wins between A&M and Missouri is the 10th. We're number 11, and South Florida is number 12.
I mean, I really hope that happens. I really do. Of course, Tennessee has to do their part. They have to win out.
Yeah, I'm saying assuming we win out, which I believe we will, we'll be sitting at number 11, and we will be in. What'll be interesting is who that number 6 is. It could be Oregon. Going to Oregon would be weird, but that might be what we're doing.
So here's the deal. Matt just asked, Notre Dame a lock? Yeah, unfortunately they are, because they have 0 ranked teams left on their schedule, and they don't have a conference championship game. Yeah. So if they win out, they're in. I mean, that's the reality of it. They're in. For anybody who feels like Tennessee controls their own destiny, 100% they do not. They do not control their own destiny. Because if you do the math on that, there's only 2 teams ahead of them still left on their schedule, and that's Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. So if they beat those 2 teams head to head, which they should, that only bumps them up. It takes 2 spots. It only bumps them up 2 spots to 15. They need other people to lose. That's what they need. Tennessee desperately needs BYU to beat Texas Tech in 3 weeks. Tennessee desperately needs that. Tennessee would really appreciate it if Georgia Tech wins out, and then, oh gosh, I don't even know in that situation. I mean, I'm not kidding. There's a legitimate possibility the ACC gets 3 teams in the playoff. At least 2. Whoever's in that championship, if they all win out like they're supposed to. The absolute worst case scenario would be Georgia Tech beating Georgia. If that happens, the ACC is getting 3 teams in the playoff. if Virginia does what they're supposed to, because Virginia has 0 ranked teams left on their schedule. None. So Tennessee desperately needs Georgia to beat Georgia Tech. They desperately need Miami to then beat Georgia Tech, pummeling them in the ACC championship game. They really need California or Duke to beat Virginia.
I don't know that Miami has to pummel Virginia Tech in the ACC championship. They will
Georgia Tech.
already be on the bubble, or Georgia Tech. They'll already be on the bubble because 1 week before that, they'll have gotten beat by Georgia. So they're already going to be teetering on the bubble, and then they lose to Miami, and they're gone. They're gone. It's over.
I agree.
They're not going to put a 2-loss. They're not going to put a 2-loss Georgia Tech playing no one in over a 2-loss Tennessee, whose only 2 losses are both in the top 4. It's not going to happen.
I agree with you. That should not happen. But we're talking about the college football playoff committee here. I mean, like that's I don't trust them. I just don't. Does Tennessee still have a path? Yeah. But they need a whole lot of help to get there. That's the bottom line.
Sure. Lots of people do.
A whole lot of help. First of all, they have to help themselves. They have to win out. And then they really, really need BYU to beat Texas Tech in 3 weeks. Matt just hit the nail on the head. He said Virginia and Notre Dame, once again, the SEC is eating itself. You're exactly right. That's exactly right. Rhonda said, Evan, I understand I'm the same way. Never trust the committee. Nolan, sadly, you're right, buddy. He said, I think it also matters who has a Heisman candidate on their team. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Ty Simpson's the front runner for that now, for sure. But could Tennessee still make the playoff? Yes. Is it a very, very narrow path? Way too narrow for my liking.